Talofa, kia ora whānau. Thank you for joining us. So today I'm here with my best friend Thelma Blake, and we are going to kōrero about our Hyrox journey. So just as a bit of a disclaimer, we kōrero it as Hyrox. So a wonderful gym in Hastings called Order Fit hosts a Hyrox sim event, and so that's why we call it a Hyrox. So the only thing different in this that we did was we did the 500 metres 8 times, and obviously in a Hyrox, proper Hyrox, it's 1 kilometre 8 times, but all the 8 stations were exactly as it would be in a proper Hyrox. So that's just our disclaimer, and so when we talk about Hyrox, we won't say it's a sim or anything, it's just Hyrox to us. Yeah, so welcome, sister. Hey. So we're 8 days post our Hyrox event. How's the body?
Really good,
yeah.
Actually. Yeah, no, I haven't got any niggles or anything, or, any trauma from afterwards.
No, I know. I think we, well, of course, all the lead up was big. So we'll start from the top.
Okay.
So, there's that whole thing, what inspired you? But actually, you were a byproduct of my my bucket list. Yeah. So no, I thank you for that. And it was either going to be a CrossFit, but then I thought, the CrossFit, how that's done. Like, I don't do CrossFit, the weights, the injuries, all that kind of stuff. And then when I saw a Hyrox, I thought, well, we kind of do that in our training already. And so, what did you
discovered? Well, like you said, in all honesty, I had no aspirations or anything like that for Hyrox. I actually didn't know what Hyrox was until you said that you, as you said, you were inspiring to have a go at a CrossFit type kind of event. And then, and then this popped up. In all honesty, I don't know why I said yes, but I did. I mean, I had no intentions or goals heading towards that way, but I think it was because I was in a place where I wasn't quite sure what my next kind of venture was going to be as far as my fitness and stuff went. Yeah. So,
No, I know. Well, we train so much together. Thelma and I, of course, train at the wonderful Patu where we are now, and have done for a long time. And so it was posed to us kind of like, I don't know whether he was serious or not when he said it to us. And then when I flippantly said, and then, I needed a partner because this Hyrox, the simulated Hyrox, it's a partnered event in like the real world of Hyrox partners or single. But and then you said yes.
No, I did. And thinking it was like, oh, did that just happen?
I know, and I think it might have been at the maybe end of November or December, and he was just so keen and eager and irritating, and I was just like, don't talk to us till January. And he kept to his word. And he did, and I think I always knew that, we could do it, it wasn't like we were looking for some amazing time or anything like that. It became apparent to me how important a trainer was.
No, it did. I mean, when Peter first said, look, I can help you guys, it was like, I think we might need help, considering how we started.
It was our first training. I think we took ourselves down to the sports park, and we went on the oval, and in our head I think we just focused on the worst exercise out of the whole 8, so broad burpee jumps.
And 80 metres.
And we kind of pushed our way through that. Then we did a lap around, and there was no structure to it.
No.
So
was like, no, I don't think I like this.
And I remember you saying, no, but I think there were a few people there obviously training themselves, and we did one lap and you were like, I feel really exposed, I can't do this. And I thought, but because we could walk a lap around the perimeter of the sports park quite easily, but I think because we're not runners, I mean, I'm not saying as you can tell, but we're not runners, so to be running you know, in this body
Yeah.
outside, and you're thinking everybody's watching you. So that there was that mental block. Hey?
Yeah, definitely. And that was kind of how I felt when Peter first said, like, you can do this. You can do a Hyrox. It's this and that. And I know I said to him, are you setting me up to fail? Just because, just no one's actually said, you know, look at this. I'm sure you guys can achieve it, or challenge yourself, or
I recall him saying to us, it's all good training.
Yeah.
You know, you have no problems training consistently and doing what the trainers say, but it's good to have a goal to kind of see where you are, and you know, the training has to make sense for what you're working towards.
Yeah.
So when he did set our trainings, and I must say, I don't know what it is, but it was like as we were getting further and further into the training and getting closer, I don't know, I think maybe it was that whole being told what to do. I knew he was right, but in my head I'm just thinking, and it was nothing to do with him, and we must say that he was absolutely the best, had the most patience, and I'd like to think, well, he's never trained people like us before, because we would say to him, right from the beginning when we started that kind of chat page, and I did that whole list of, this is what we're not doing, don't ask us to do this, you don't have to be present, or, you know. So
that was kind of funny. And then it was like, why are we asking them if we're not going to be doing any of this stuff? But
so the training aspect of it, we're very lucky because in our gym here, all of our trainers in some way accommodated us to what we were doing, and I'm pretty sure our patu whānau are kind of glad it's over. So in that respect, we only did train a Hyrox specific training once a week. So we did keep that to a Saturday or a Sunday and had a rest day.
And absolutely had rest days. I think we needed to, thinking we can't keep coming to patu 5 days a week. Or six days a week, and putting in Hyrox training in between, because when it came down to it, like there were certain exercises that had certain techniques that had to be done to complete the Hyrox, and I've never done those kind of techniques.
What was your one? What was your nemesis?
My nemesis is the nightmare lunges with a 10 kg bag on my back, and it's like, oh my god, that was the only thing. And right from the word go, actually, I was thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do it.
We actually worked out, because we both have injuries, of course, historical ones, all that kind of thing. So for a long time, we've kind of done like half squats or half lunges or all of this kind of nonsense, because we felt we were protecting the injury. But as we came to learn to do a proper squat, to do a proper lunge, it actually didn't aggravate the injury, and it probably made our bodies overall better.
No, it certainly did, and it was like, oh my god, why didn't I do this like 5 years back?
Exactly. And I think if we hadn't probably done this race, we would have just continued to, you know, do these half exercises really badly.
There was very good improvements in certain ones. But that was my main one, was just, I don't
know, for me, always, actually, why am I even guessing? Burpee broad jumps. Even on a good day, I do really half pie burpees, and then just that thought of, you know, jumping first, then doing the burpee, and then doing it over and over for 80 metres. 80 metres. So, because like, we're quite well known to do these little burpees. And there was one training that we were doing squat jumps in here, and I remember doing them and doing them well, in my head doing them really well, but aggravated the knee so much I stopped doing that. And the next time, and that was like a few weeks out before our race, and I didn't actually do proper burpee broad jumps until race day. So that was probably my thing.
I actually, the burpees went too far behind the lunges. for me, because I never jump. I never do jump squats or whatever like that. Never. And then when they said, I was like, oh God, I've got to do one or the other.
I think also it was the running.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
She was 3.
Like we were lucky enough to train out of City Fitness too.
Yeah.
We actually didn't do too much outdoor running when we realised we don't like it. We did the treadmill running, and that to me was such a big push.
And I think it was enough because it's the cardio.
Yeah.
So no matter where you're running or how far you're running, it still involves the cardio. So I guess we got cardio fit.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think we had this amazing idea that 4 months. So first we were told that the comp was going to be in June. So in Jan, you're like, oh, cool, we've got 6 months. Yeah. And then he texts to say, well, actually, sorry, they've brought it forward. And then from that point on, we only had 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of highs and lows of the whole mental game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know I did. It was, I ended up getting a little niggle.
Yes, and, quite early on.
Yeah, and that just threw me for a 6. Straight away it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it was like the nerve, what's it called again?
Was it sciatic?
The sciatic nerve. So,
and it pinged in training one morning, You were just like, oh no.
And I just thought, oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to not complete this Hyrox or even get to the start line. Yeah,
I know. I remember I did text him on the side to say, this whole speech about let's not pressure you too much and we'll see how it goes. And he was just so good. And then you did like a 360.
Yeah, actually. Wow, yeah, because any other day I would have just like, nah, I'm not doing this.
But it was like overnight.
Put myself out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that little bracket, I remember coming here and Pete just come up and just said, hey, have you got a little niggle, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah. And I don't know how I'm going to work around it because it's a sciatic nerve and it's like... It
really
was,
pinching.
Yeah, it was sore. And he said, look, no pressure, nothing like that, but I can give you an alternative to exercise.
Yeah, cool.
Like, don't just stop exercising.
Yeah.
And in the same breath, I went home and spoke to Lorraine.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this nerve and and she said, Mum, the worst thing you can do is stop training. She said, don't stop training, just, look for an alternative way of training.
It didn't take you long though.
Yeah.
I don't recall you changing things up too much. I think maybe we did lighter weights or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, no, that's right. You started to do dynamic stretches and were you rolling?
Yeah, heaps of rolling. That dynamic stretching did me the trick.
Cool.
And I never do anything like that. But after doing the cordial with Pete and Lorraine, it was just like, I've got to keep doing this. And considering we're in doubles, I'm not going to get to this point and let...
To be honest,
down.
You know how... we say we volunteer to do these things, but in my head I'm nearly like, yes. Yes, we're not going to do it. Yes, there's an excuse of not to do it. Yeah. But then I think you took 2 days off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just came back in, no pressure, and then we just kind of picked it back up.
And that was it. I think just thinking it was okay to have those 2 days off. Because in my head it was like, like the race was like the next day.
Yeah, but we had weeks. We were weeks out.
And that's what Pete did say. He said, don't forget these 7 weeks to go, plenty time. And I'm like, yeah,
exactly.
So took 2 days off, adjusted a few things, and then I didn't think about it again. It just sort of things just started rolling into place, I guess.
Exactly. I think that the structure of the trainings that he did set us, were built up to be able to sustain,
Yeah.
like, you know, to be able to sustain the training. And then I remember thinking on the day of, or once we finished, that was the first time we ever actually did all runs and all exercises. We were
Yeah.
close a couple of times in trainings, maybe 6. We did 6 runs, and we always ran further in a training than that we were going to on the day.
Yeah.
But how good are the whānau?
Yeah.
How
No,
were
it
your
was
whānau
good.
when you first said, hey, guess what?
Well, it took me a long time to tell them, actually. I didn't come right out and say, oh,
Yeah.
gee, Mum's going to do a Hyrox. It probably was in the middle of our trainings, probably, about March.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what was the reaction?
Well, I actually told my moko rating first. And she was going, wow, man, you know. And because I always go, oh, I'm going to sound stupid.
No.
But no. Yeah, no, she was like, that's awesome, Nan.
Cool.
Will you be all right? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then from there on, it was like, oh, I'll tell Laura.
I'll let them all know.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to do this Hyrox. That's why I've been going to the city training, blah, blah, blah. She was like, cool. Oh, that's all good, Mum. And she says, so we've worked out that, in the long run, with that little injury and that too, that's why she said, that's why you got to keep pushing. Just keep going. Just do your thing. And at your pace.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was the key,
Yeah.
that when you take away, you know, because there's so much coverage online of what someone's journey looks like, what it looks like on race day, but actually, if we think about ourselves, and that was kind of the mantra on the day, run to our pace, keep to our pace, because on the day, we just can't be people that we're not. And
absolutely.
Exactly. So, but yeah, even with my own whānau, I think they're just used to me training. And when you say, oh, I'm going to do something, they're like, oh, yeah, you know.
Mum's at it again.
Yeah, there's nothing. They're just like, oh, yeah. But no, that's fine. And that's fine by me, you know, if they want to join or talk about it, you know. But I think there's so much coverage online. Everybody knows what Hyrox is. And
It was kind of cool, like, when it sort of got out there, eh?
Yeah. A little bit. I think it puts a bit of pressure on yourself because you're like, oh. And then people are just so heartwarming with their advice. Like,
it was.
our whānau here, you know, they just would rally and just be so encouraging, and especially when they've done it before. They'd be like, no, you'll be fine.
No, it was like, it was a lot of that, and just opening up to other people, because, for me, I never do that. Haven't had the confidence in saying, like, oh, I'm doing this. This is what this Hyrox thing did for me in the end, without even realising it too, apart from it being a goal. Well, it turned into a goal of mine in the end.
I think I must say, you seem to be far more into, you know, like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I thought, oh, shoot, which was great, because you do need that balance between if we were too, you know, stressed out or hard on ourselves or, you know, each other, it would have been something we wouldn't enjoy.
No.
So I'm glad.
Think, we balanced out each other quite well.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be something taxing, like we had to work out when we were going to sleep.
Yeah.
So it was just
right down to all the nitty-gritties, eh?
So we would drop a couple of morning classes and come to afternoons where it was weight focused, so it didn't seem so taxing. Yeah,
because
was cool.
Did get to that point, and it was like, do you want to go? It was like,
I know, and if there was one of us, but I don't think out of that whole 4 months, I think I had a weekend away. You did an extra training with Katrina, but there was actually,
But you were still doing something, you know, towards that. That's why I said I took the pill and did the training with pets. And even then, like, it was like, right, okay, pets, it's just going to be
it's one athlete today.
Yeah, so, and that in itself was a challenge for me. A lot of my challenges were mental challenges, apart from I don't know, it's probably just my own way of thinking. The physical side of things, it's just like, then I used to go, I've got this going on and that's going on. I'm thinking, just get
just
on with it.
Do it.
Yeah,
I know. I look for those kind of things too. But then, exercise to us is a form of mental health, mental release, mental, uplifting, and then you're just adding in like a goal in a competition.
No, exactly. So even just turning up to the gym with Pete was, was good for
it
me.
would have been, because it's like, well, you only see him in these four walls, and then it's like you're reliant on somebody. That's how I see it. I think I saw his role as our trainer. It definitely is a trainer, but it was like, oh damn it, I'm not indebted to him or feel like it was like I not needed him, but I was like, damn it, I don't want to.
I get it. It's
but
just,
I think maybe, hey, is that our way of thinking? And I'm sure he never thought about it like that.
But for me, it was exposing my vulnerabilities in that for me, because probably just because being on your own and all of that sort of thing, and going through the journey that I've been going on, and
it is you keep your circle very small, like so we both do, and then you kind of, and I must say I made sure to tell him that, and I just saw it as there's actually no payback system. It's not like, because I've done this for you guys, blah blah blah. It wasn't about that. And it is a bit of trust. It's but right from the word go, I think he probably worked that out. So with Peter, we had a chat, and that's where he would post our trainings and it'd be like, okay, and then and so that's kind of how it was. There wasn't very much, not interaction, but he did one training with you, and then the rest was here at so in that respect it was good. But any surprise moments with all of the trainings? How taxing they were.
Yay, surprise!
Both.
Actually just the one that I did with him, probably the running side of things. It was just like, but then, but did it? It was like, what? Oh yeah, I did it. I did it, and accomplished what I needed to, and even the techniques of the lunges and stuff like that. That was a big one for me. Didn't look pretty.
But the sled push and pull.
Yes,
that for you was something.
That was another one on the list, but ticked it off, and it was sweet. But just because they're just movements, never had to do.
And to do them properly too. Yeah, that kind of was on my head, especially about, of course, the wall balls, the squatting, but then keeping in mind this is a community-driven event, this particular Hyrox sim, so it's not like they were penalising us and all of that kind of thing.
No.
But I think for me, the running on the treadmill, listening to my body, if I felt like a niggle start, then in my head I was, well, Trine, you've got to straighten up or relax or, heel toe or lift your knees a bit higher. It was really about listening rather than just ploughing through.
Yeah. Because I think that's what saved us a lot. Well, not saved us in that sense, but those are the things I wanted to get right.
Yes.
Even like how the board jumps or the burpees, do I got to jump? Oh, right. I'm going to jump. Never jumped in for the, I don't know, umpteen years I've been doing this. But you
did, because you started quite early on. Even we would practice burpees and we'd have to add a jump, and we're just like, oh my gosh.
And I think it was just that thought of, no, didn't do all of this. To do things half pie.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that kind of mental challenge for me was like, I know I can do these things and work it out in my head properly. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of surprising too, because like you sometimes it was like, hey, am I taking over on this?
No, but I
gotta
didn't
ease on
mind.
back.
No, I didn't mind at all. To me, it was such a shared effort, and it was so
Yeah.
cool to know, I didn't have to pull you through, like, come
Yeah,
on. And you were
yeah.
just like, no, cool. And it became, our life for 4 months.
Yeah, and it did become enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it did wake up thinking, oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
quite
And then,
good
in the
training.
morning after a hard train, you're like, oh, I am moving okay,
Yeah,
and
no.
I've done everything right. So, should we fast forward to race day?
Yeah. That race day. So even the build up to race day, say even the day before,
Oh my gosh,
you
yeah.
hear people, how you feeling? Did it? I didn't feel nervous.
No.
Didn't feel.
I think our final training on the
Yeah.
Saturday, in my head I was like, we're never training like this again.
Yeah.
This is it. We don't have to do another training.
Yeah.
The next time will be race day.
Exactly.
So it was like a big tick off the list.
Yeah, and that whole week to race day
Yep.
was
Could kind of pull
just-
back on our training
yeah,
too. Like we didn't
just
want to.
eased up.
Yeah.
There was no like,
No.
you're gonna do this, and that, and it was cold.
Yep.
It was good for your mind, the body.
Yeah, I think where we're at too in our life stage, it was like, well, we can't do anything new. We're not going to start a new
Yeah.
Kai regime.
No,
like we
exactly.
had an idea to let's get those electrolyte gels, and you wanted to buy a new sports bra, and then it was like, hang on, we can't do those things
No.
because we don't know what's going to happen on race day. So for us to, and I think we thought about things so much, like we had a training in our training gears quite
Yeah,
early on, like
yeah.
and what we were going to wear and all those kind of things to be okay with that with each other.
No,
and
exactly.
some people think those are tedious details, but to us it's like, well, I don't want to wear those socks.
Yeah, no, exactly. It could be just the smallest thing, and it puts
Exactly.
me out.
Yeah.
But race day, got up. I think we had a plan to meet,
Yep.
and at certain times, get up, have your breakfast,
Yep.
just ease into it, have whatever you need to have before we get to each other's meet
Yep.
point. I was still in my pajamas a half an hour before I was supposed to come and meet you. My kids are like ringing up, are you ready? Are you pumped, Mum? And it was like a video chat. And my son's like, why are you in your PJs? And I was like, oh, I'm just having my breakfast.
Yep, yep.
But just little things like that. So, yeah, and it was a great morning.
It was. I think, I had half the breakfast that I normally had because you're
Yeah.
like, but no, kind of potted around, just triple checked everything.
Yeah.
And then, you picked me up. And then I think it was really important for us when we got there. And we looked so nervous because we don't know the order organisers or owners,
Yeah.
but we actually talked to both of them.
Yeah,
And
without even realising it for me too.
Yeah,
Hey.
and when she came up to us, and we must have looked so scared because she was like, "Ladies, it's okay," and she complimented us on our outfits, blah blah blah. So I think the way that they really set it up was awesome.
It was neat. It was cool, and everything. When you see it in person,
Yeah.
like they did a video and sent out the video of how it was going to be set up, where the runners, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. But once you got there,
it made more sense.
just
eh?
and it was really,
It was good,
really
and
cool
to walk
setup.
around and to be able to quickly chat to the marshals and
Yeah.
just say, "Oh, do we come in here or there?" Like for us, that's really important.
Yeah.
And we did that with every station, and then there was a separate shed for the athletes to kind of just be in that space, and that was really nice too, to come away from all of that for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh, even just arriving in the van, it was like, is there an athlete's car park anywhere? Just all of that, and it was like, oh, who are we? Actually, that came part of our thing,
Exactly, we had this thing where, well, because, you get used to what you wear for training and what you like and dislike, and then this one kind of started wearing, well, we call them shorty shorts, but
They're short.
Well, yeah, they are short, but they're practical and they're active wear.
Yeah, made sense to me because I never wear shorts, but
and even on the day of it, or when you showed the kids what you were wearing,
even the kids were like, "Wow, Mum," because like I say, I don't wear shorts, but it just made sense to wear shorts when we did that one training. And,
exactly.
And I thought, oh yeah, you feel freer. But so that was a challenge that I got through. And got over quite rapidly.
Yeah, exactly, because really it makes sense. It's for a purpose, and if we're thinking this way, and if we see other like female athletes, it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense. We're not being judgy.
Yeah,
we're just like, oh yeah. So it's more of a you thing where you're like, okay, get over that, and
that was cool, and we look cool.
So we did do the matching shorty shorts. We did the, the tops and all that kind of stuff. But it was still about being comfortable rather than looking cute, because it's not pretty halfway through.
I wasn't feeling cute I think it was after the fourth run and going into the fourth exercise. Exactly. It was just like,
I know. I think so it was lovely seeing the whānau. We were on the warm-up side and got to see everybody do the photos, cool. And when we lined up, we were the last in our heat. So there were 4 teams. The 3 other teams had already competed before, so that was nice. And then I just when I told you afterwards, we took off on the run and it was fine at our pace. But we had just rounded the first corner, and I had this awful fleeting thought. I just wanted to say to you, I don't want to do this anymore. It just threw me, and I thought, don't say it. Oh, you cannot say that. So it was one of those things. And in my head, it was more about, I know I'm not going to get my breath right to about run 3. So I just knew, just plough through, and we came into...
It surprised me when you told me afterwards, because mentally I thought you were the stronger one. Like I've never actually heard you ever say, oh, I don't think I could do this. Yeah. You're usually the one who goes, oh, we're doing this and this. Yeah. And that threw me, and I was like, oh my God, you're human now. Yeah.
It was all those horrible thoughts of, we've got so much to do, And then in doing it, we actually ploughed through the 3 first ones. So ski-erg, sled pull and push.
Yeah, and then that kind of went fast.
Yeah, too fast.
Yeah, because I was like breathless and and it was good though, because throughout each exercise it was like we'll get out onto the run, and it was like keep the things the same. Let's not change anything.
That's right, honestly.
And that was cool.
Yeah, and it was keep to our pace. Yeah. Even when we worked out where our stretch of walking was, because I said, we're not going to be able to keep this pace. We need to walk somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And then even when we started to trot off again, I'd be like, no, come on, because you had to run through the stretch of grass.
Yeah.
So that was a bit hard on the body.
Yeah.
But I think, just that mental push. And then just seeing you do your thing. And so Thelma had just this moment in the sandbag lunges. So every time we train, even at normal training, she always goes first. So we didn't change that on the day. We thought, no, it doesn't matter who's stronger, who's faster, whatever. And then on sandbag lunges, you just said to me, I want to go all the way to the fence. I was like, okay.
And that's coming out of, like, you'd look up and the stretch seems like a mile away.
Yes, I know. I'm sure if we went back and looked at the course now, we'd be like, oh God, that was only down there.
Yeah, no. And I think it was coming from the burpees, and there were 2 exercises in between, but the burpees, like, that shocked me.
Yeah. I think it shocked the world.
That was a shock, because outside, and then just the constant a big jump, like the guys that are supervising, whatever you call them. He was helpful but not helpful. And you think, so we did the burpee jumps, and there's a technique, blah blah blah. We thought we had it down pat.
I don't know.
We thought it was down pat. This one runs straight up to the guy and says, "Do I got to jump?"
That was the only thing I asked him.
Yeah. And it was like, yes, she's and then I just looked at him and went, "Are you going to be right?"
He did, and I was like, "Yep." And then you said, "Let's do 5 for 5."
Yeah.
And it felt like 500 for 500.
I was even in doubt because I was like, "This is
my thing.
me. I can do this." Yeah. Hicka, and then did 5, and then it was like, "Oh no!"
I know. I don't know if whatever position that particular part would have been in, it would always be hard.
Yeah.
It's just
It was. It actually was. And then and then moving on to that. And like there was the rose.
Yes.
So we did the rose after that.
Yep, the rose
that
were
was
good.
sweet.
Yep.
And then that was kind of the part where we were told, this is a good time to catch your breath, have a break. No, you don't have to go super fast. Oh, even then I was still breathless.
And then knowing I think we need 3 more things to do.
Yeah.
So you're like, hallelujah.
And then rolling into the carries.
Yeah.
Farmer carries. This one. Just finished saying we're running through the exhibition hall, keep things the same. And it was like, he's on this? Yeah. So there were 3 sets of kettlebells there. And it was like, no, we're doing the 16, so we train with the 16. This one wants to go and get the biggest flinging kettlebell, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that.
I know. and then I don't know what I was thinking when I finished, and then I went to put them away, and we were only halfway
through. Yeah. Oh, and just the little things like the chalk. Yes. I never use chalk. We never use chalk. And then the lady goes, "There's some chalk there. What does it?" I went straight in, grabbed the chalk, and she was looking at me like, "What? I thought we weren't changing anything."
I was like, "Okay then."
Just those little things. Yeah, and then
I know. I think it just goes to show where your mental state is.
Oh, tell me about it.
When you were at the edge of like physically you're spent.
Yeah.
But then if someone had yelled out something really negative, or we'd said something negative to each other, we probably would have broke.
Absolutely. I know. I think I would have. Actually, I know I would have.
Yeah.
And then that's when we rolled into the lunges. And
you
wasn't
just had that moment.
Yeah, it wasn't like I knew I could do it.
Oh yeah.
But because I'd gone into those little dark spaces in my head. So I did the first, must have been the first 5.
Yeah, you started off strong.
Yeah, and then I could feel the fatigue in my legs, and then next minute I went straight to here.
Yeah.
And I could hear you going, we can change, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not changing. Yeah. If it takes me for another half an hour, I've got to keep doing it. I don't care what anybody else thinks. But that nearly broke me, I will admit. Took me, I think I got halfway down, and then I thought, shit, I don't think I can do this.
I know, you just had this, yes, it was determination, but it was to me, it was real emotion filled. And then later on, when you said you could just look down and see your girl, and then, I just thought to myself, it's much more than just, a few metres of sandbag lunges.
I think that's when it come to me that the why.
Yeah.
Why I started this in the first place. And, and it was just going through that grief.
Oh, of course.
That grief all over again. But, and then when I looked out and saw the kids, and I was thinking, oh man, and then even when I turned around and you were crying, I was thinking, I wanted to cry. Why are you crying? Because I wanted to cry, but no, if I
But you did say if you did not do your full length, you don't think you would have been able to tap me out.
I couldn't tap you out, that's what I was thinking. If I get down the end, I'm going to be fine.
No, I know, but you did it, you know, you got to the end, and then I think because I had not a long time till it was my turn, and then when I started, I'm like, and I remember a couple of times I just stood there just to get, you know, my breath back, let the legs kind of wake up, and then it was done. Thank God. And that wasn't that just like such a release, that final run? It was like, that's it, one more run. And you know how they say, oh, you know, you get a little bit of steam. No, we didn't.
No, there was no steam.
We stayed at that same pace.
And I think that's the only time I listened.
Yeah.
Like, not change anything. No, we're definitely not changing anything. And if we had to walk right around, sweet.
That was fine. But I think we
kept to where we
our walking spot, and then ran the rest. And I must say, just the energy from the marshals was beautiful. The girls and the guys were beautiful, and I think they know how important their role is in that time, especially when they can see people that don't usually do these kind of events are putting themselves out there. And then the wall balls. I think when you get to that space in your head of like you don't have any gas left, you on any other normal day we would never talk to people like that.
No. Wow, it was nice considering it could have been worse. But I think after the blinging lunges and stuff like that, it was just like, man, I just wanted this to be finished. I don't care how far I got a squat or whatever.
I think I was just focused on your injury, like, oh my gosh, it could, it could pop. And I was so intent on telling everybody, she's got an injury, you know. And then the poor marshal on the last station, you know, and she's got a little timer, a little ticker that ticks over. Clicks over your wall balls. And when you're in that headspace, because it's 100 wall balls, that's a lot. Like when you're at the end.
Did you start that or did I?
No, you started it. You started it. You started it, and then.
That's right. Because I said to Katrina, I'll do 10, and then I'm going to swap. And I was counting. And I counted out, and it got 10. I know, and then turned around, passed the ball over, and Katrina says to me, how many did you do? I said, I did my 10, and then the marshal went, you did 9, because I just was like, no, I didn't, I did 10.
But that's where you are in your mind, and you know, bickering about one,
just one. We just started, and I was thinking, oh my God, and it just suck it out.
I know, but once we got over 50, it was like they just tick,
quite fast,
and then it was like, and then I only turned around briefly, and I could see our team because your back is to them, so you could see our whānau, and I was like, oh wow, and then called out 100. You did one extra,
make up for that one that she missed,
and then running over the finish line, and it was like, cannot believe. Like, that's done, never again.
It was kind of surreal, but it was nice to have seen even people I didn't even know were there that were supporting us, like from here.
I know, I think when the lead up coming up to race day was coming on, I was getting more nervous about spectators being there, or people watching. But then on the day, I must say, hearing familiar voices calling out just made all the difference, because they're actually there to support you rather than ridiculing you or judging you. Like,
it was.
I go right to those spaces instead of thinking people have taken time out of their morning, you know, and it wasn't a sunny, beautiful morning. I think it was nice to have the wind for us and a colder day.
It just showed you, or showed me, who were there for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think now doing something like that, I'll make the effort when someone I know is going to do something like that, and because it just makes all the little bit of difference, and to just see someone else kind of pushing through a real challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, no, God, even just going over the finish line, it was like, oh, yeah, it was just a whole new type of feeling, actually. It didn't hit till we were
we were on a high for so long.
For so
long. We had our beautiful other bestie, Mon Bartlett, doing all of our footage, and all the other whānau that have given wonderful videos. But no, just on a high for so long afterwards. The relief, nothing went wrong. That's what I was.
No, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I was just so wrapped that right from the get-go, everything went according to plan.
Yeah, and I think that's what the best thing out of that whole thing was. Like, it was on our terms. Yeah. It may not have been freaking pretty to watch, or because it got ugly out there in some places.
I know.
But that made it too.
Yeah, that's part. Yeah. When you watch some people's Hyrox experiences, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't train." No, for us, we had to have a really good training program, because we just wouldn't. I would have hated to have done it and really regretted the experience.
And not enjoy it. Like they said, oh, you'll love it. At first I was like, no, I don't think so. But you did. But you didn't love it until afterwards. Oh, yeah. And you think about, what we did and how we did it.
Yeah, how we did it.
But I still enjoyed the fact that, on our runs, even during the exercises, having little...
Yeah, I think there were maybe one run we didn't talk.
No, just couldn't get anything out.
We and then I think we were the last in that heat, and then they started the pro women's, and I was like, and you could see the difference in the athlete.
For sure.
But they were really encouraging, and we were encouraging, so, and that kind of... environment, it's all good. Yeah. There is no,
no
elitist.
That
was cool. And just, I think, when I think back and look over the videos and the photos, it is a moment where I'm like, you don't see that part of yourself until you see it back.
Well, that's all I was saying. I'm not going to say what in. It was like, I've never seen that side of me before. But, it's just, it was us looking at ourselves on the side for a change. And, I like what we saw and what we did, how we did it. Yeah. I think was the best thing.
Yeah.
I think that was my biggest takeaway from it all, is how we did it, how we stuck to it. You don't go into things like that and be half pie, because it just wastes that whole...
Exactly. I was hoping there wasn't going to be a time when we really would have to call it off. It's not happening because of, and then having to own that. Yeah. And then I just thought, on the day, I didn't actually care if I became injured throughout it. I just thought, I don't care. We did see one injury, beautiful young girl, but it was just a niggle for her, very young, can bounce back. But for somebody like us, if we had an ankle turn or something, it would have just been a make or break of the competition for us. But we kind of walked out of it.
It was meant to be the way it came out.
Exactly.
And it was. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the experience, the build-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming into those last couple of weeks of training, I did think, it's coming.
That's when I probably was more, not anxious, but wow.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Up. Yeah. I think I lost a couple of nights sleep, and I was like, girl, why are you doing this now?
And then when you read kind of the emails, there's 400 people participating, and you're thinking, but the crowd energy on the day was great.
It was good. All positive.
Exactly. What are you doing?
How?
Yeah. I did see a couple of people that I hadn't seen in a long time, but they were like, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good, that part of it, the whole experience. Even seeing and completing the things that popped up during, it was like, wow. But afterwards, it was just like, oh, did we just do
Yeah,
that?
we were really on a high. We had a lovely lunch at Ocean Spa in Ahuriri with our mate Mons, and just a wonderful soak in the spa.
Yeah.
So that was something that was really important to us, because we could quite easily have gone, oh, we're just going to go home.
Yeah,
but it was like, no, we needed to make
You
sure.
had to finish it properly,
Yeah, and it was so good. And then it was like a day and a half of just rest the body, and came back to training on Monday.
On Monday.
The
actual next day I felt really
Felt
good.
okay, eh?
Just like tired from God, we put our body through so much.
Yeah, I could.
Day.
The legs could feel it for me.
But it was a good tired, a good sore. And then the next morning was like, no, let's go to
go.
class.
Let's go for a train.
Go,
Yeah.
So that side of things, I was thinking,
that's awesome, eh? Yeah, because you sometimes think, I'm going to have a whole week off.
Yeah, a week off. That's what I thought. I even wanted to take a day off work, but I didn't. But no. And even then thinking that, like after our little reset afterwards and got home, and my kids were having drinks. They were having drinks because they were just happy that I'd done what I'd done.
Cool, eh?
Yeah. So, and given them a bit of a, a
bit of a motivation to do something else.
Yeah. And to, I took away from that the whole experience of them for, I am strong.
Yes.
I am mentally and physically at a stage now where I can help them to be strong in our journey.
Yes.
That didn't sort of come out a couple of days later because I was like, I don't know, just feeling to do that kind of on our own and being wrapped up in our grief. The last couple of years has been quite hard, but this was definitely a healing process. And people will go, how do you heal like that? But it's a mental healing for me, and just being able to show and give something to my kids. Yeah,
well, you guys value, sport and training so much, and sometimes we use it, even myself use it as a block, or, I can say it's for my well-being, but I may not want to deal with something. And then when you kind of turn it back to a positive, because that's more healthier, people can see that, and then, it's unusual to not be training. If you're not training, something's wrong. They're like, you're going to the gym, and then you're like, nah. But I think, rather than, we've done a Hyrox, it was far more than that. It was definitely 4 months of dedication and commitment, and that higher belief in yourself.
I think that's what I gained, and being able to give back to the kids and because a couple of them have been struggling, but I think seeing them, because even my moko Radine, she was like, oh Nan, that was amazing.
How cool.
And she was crying for me, because they all know where my weaknesses and stuff were, but I think it, without them even knowing, made us all stronger.
Oh, totally.
And pulled us together. I said, we did that. It wasn't just mum or Nan. We all did that together and done a lot of those sort of stuff together.
And it's, different. Mum always goes to the gym and all that kind of stuff, but to take on something like this, where generally they would.
Exactly. So I was going, Nan's done a Hyrox, have you? And Nan's nearly 60.
That's another thing. So Thelma will be going on 56 and I'll be going on 48 this year. So I've always believed, my age is just a number. And we're just now at the stage where of course, moving these bodies is what's going to keep going.
Change it up
exactly.
every now and then. I'd recommend Hyrox to people now that I've done it. Never do it again.
Nah, that's it. Like,
I know I could never
one
do
and
that
done.
again.
There's been talk about doing the next one. No, thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely fine. We totally support anybody that wants to do it.
100%.
But, yeah, for us, we've got, with our wider group of our besties here, will be the Tongariro crossing in 2027, probably a good year from now.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no running in it.
I definitely got to train.
So there'll be different structured training plan, but I think just kind of doing that next level instead of we'll just do a walk or something. Take it to that next level.
That's cool.
No, it has been, girl, and we just love to thank our trainer, Peter Hakiwai. He has been an absolute most patient boy ever with us. And our whānau, of course, just having to not put up with, another thing we're doing, but just that huge belief and support system.
And allowing it to take place, I guess.
Yeah, and our friends, we've got the best friends ever that, never ever not believe that we can't do it.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, I remember, I think at the end of last year I talked about it on probably one of my first reels about having some big goals, and this was it. Didn't ever think it was going to happen, but it has, and I'm just so thankful that we stuck it out.
Yeah, I'm glad actually now that you asked me now that it happened, and that balanced it out really well. We did it together, and that's been huge for me.
Cool.
And I'm grateful for you for that. I don't know if you're grateful for me.
I don't think anybody else would say yes to doing it. Actually, our lovely mate Viv said she would step in when you were having your injuries, but it worked out. It worked out, and so no, but thank you, girl.
Yeah, no, thank you. Hey, Hyrox.
Never again.
Never again. That's a tick.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, my friend.